Today is Ethan's birthday, the first one we've celebrated together since we started dating. I had imagined a romantic evening that would deepen our relationship, leading smoothly to marriage and children. But to my dismay, Ethan completely forgot about our dinner plans.
Ethan, I brought a homemade chocolate cake.
He was on the phone with his ex, oblivious to my presence. I had thought he was a refined and considerate man, but once again, my luck proved otherwise. I had found someone still entangled with his former lover.
We're done.
As soon as I left, Ethan called. I didn't answer and simply texted him, "We're done." I didn't give him a chance to respond. I blocked and deleted him immediately, a skill I had mastered long ago. Liam had been blocked the same way, though I never deleted him, just left him in my blacklist. I took a cab home, and as I stepped out of the elevator, I was stunned to see a familiar face.
What are you doing here?
Didn't you say you were scared to be home alone? You didn't change the password, did you?
Without waiting for my response, he entered the code and walked into my apartment. It was the first time I'd seen him in 2 years since our breakup. Before I could react, he was already in the bathroom washing his face. I stood at the door, staring at him.
Actually, that message was just me.
I hadn't even finished organizing my thoughts when he suddenly turned and kissed me.
Liam,
He didn't give me a chance to speak, swallowing every word I tried to say. When I woke up, it was already the next morning. Opening my eyes, I saw Liam sleeping beside me. He was just as domineering when awake, but in sleep, all his sharpness softened, making him look harmless, like a college student. But I knew this thought was dangerous. Watching him, I felt a pang of anxiety. As I tried to quietly slip out of bed, pretending nothing had happened, Liam's arm wrapped around my waist with uncanny accuracy.
Do you know how long I've waited for you to unblock me?
I didn't dare speak. His warm breath on my ear made me weak. I feared that if I spoke, he would realize I had no resistance against him at that moment.
805 days, Emily. I've waited 805 days.
He was handsome, capable, well-educated, and came from a good family, an impeccable boyfriend. My best friend Jessica always said I was incredibly lucky to be with him. Indeed, the day Liam and I became official, I was so ecstatic I wanted the whole world to know he was mine. But no one expected that we would break up exactly 6 months later. And it was me who initiated the split. I didn't dare speak. His warm breath on my ear made me weak. I feared that if I spoke, he would realize I had no resistance against him at that moment.
805 days, Emily. I've waited 805 days.
He was handsome, capable, well-educated, and came from a good family, an impeccable boyfriend. My best friend Jessica always said I was incredibly lucky to be with him. Indeed, the day Liam and I became official, I was so ecstatic I wanted the whole world to know he was mine. But no one expected that we would break up exactly 6 months later. And it was me who initiated the split.
She's Liam's ex, the one who keeps calling him every now and then.
yes, it's her.
Damn! I thought this guy was still hung up on you, counting the days waiting for you. Turns out this jerk was entangled with that woman while pretending to be all deep and brooding. Emily, just forget about last night. Don't go soft just because he's good in bed. People like him bring bad luck to anyone who gets involved with them.
Emily felt her frustration and discomfort fade seeing Jessica's indignation.
You didn't say that before. Didn't you say I still had a chance with him? What, did you get it wrong?
Jessica's tarot readings had always been eerily accurate. But now, seeing Liam and Sophia shopping for a bed together, Emily realized that the accuracy of the readings no longer mattered. After leaving the furniture store, Emily blocked and deleted Liam from her contacts. She bought a bed from another store and kept replaying the 6 months she spent with Liam in her mind.
If he hadn't left the country without a word, if he had discussed it with me in advance, or even made up an excuse to deceive me, perhaps I wouldn't have broken up with him.
Lost in thought, Emily arrived home. After the delivery guys set up the bed, she went to the bathroom to freshen up. Halfway through her shower, the doorbell rang. Thinking it was Jessica, she hurriedly rinsed off and opened the door in her slippers.
Jessica, how did you get here so fast?
But it wasn't Jessica standing there, it was Liam.
What are you doing here? I thought.
You blocked me again. Emily, you blocked me again, didn't you?
Liam, I explained everything last night. Yesterday was an accident. I admit I was a bit childish, using that method to get back at you. But I never intended to rekindle anything with you. Let's end it here.
Emily didn't want anyone interfering in her relationships, nor did she want to interfere in others.
Don't come here again.
806 days, Emily. Is this really what you want to say to me? Is there nothing else you want to say?
Are you referring to what happened at the store? Don't worry, I won't tell Miss Sophia about it.
Liam's frown deepened.
Are you sure?
So, what do you want me to do? Slap you or slap her? Liam, I'm not in the mood to talk about this. My friend is coming over soon. You should go.
As soon as I finished speaking, Ethan appeared. Liam's face darkened immediately upon seeing him. He looked at me with a complex expression for a moment, then left without looking back.
I knew he misunderstood, but I couldn't be bothered to explain. After all, what was there to explain when we were already over?
But at that moment, I wasn't in the mood to deal with Ethan either. I slammed the door shut. No matter how much Ethan tried to explain outside, I ignored him. I continued drying my hair and reading my book. I didn't know when Ethan left. But when Jessica arrived, it was already 10 p.m.
I'm so sorry. Andrew wouldn't let me leave.
I was thinking if you didn't come soon, I'd just go to bed.
Come on. Of course, I'd come. I didn't just come to keep you company. I also brought some news. Do you want to hear it?
What news? If it's about Ethan, there's no need. He came to see me earlier, but I didn't let him in. I don't want to get back together.
Liam's lingering connection with Sophia had already exhausted me. Now with Ethan acting like this, I didn't want to get entangled anymore. It wasn't worth it.
Who wants to talk about Ethan? I want to tell you about that woman.
Sophia? You don't even know her.
Who else could it be? I found out that she went abroad back then for postpartum care.
Postpartum care. So Liam went abroad without hesitation to take care of her? That child is theirs.
They were picking out a bed, so they must be getting married, right?
The thought of this possibility made my head buzz, and it took me a while to recover.
Hey. Are you okay? Don't be upset. I haven't finished yet.
No need to say more. I don't want to know about their business. All these years, I never blocked him on WeChat because I hadn't given up. I always thought he wouldn't leave without giving me an excuse. But after seeing them together in the store today, I realized, Jessica, I'm just a joke.
Emily, I don't know if James went to take care of Sophia. But I heard the child's father isn't him. I also know you still have some feelings for James. Otherwise, you wouldn't have been with him. And you wouldn't have kept the door code the same.
As she said this, she glanced at my neck.
Whether the child is his or not doesn't matter. What matters is that he never told me about it from the start. From applying for the transfer abroad to leaving, it must have taken some time, right? But he never gave me an explanation. Not even a lie. So now I feel there's nothing left to talk about between us. You don't need to dig up more information.
Are you serious? You won't do anything drastic, right? Do you really think I'm that fragile? Don't worry, I won't do anything drastic over him. Come on, I've prepared some delicious food. If we don't eat it soon, it'll get cold.
Jessica was still worried about me, otherwise, she wouldn't have stayed over at my place for 2 consecutive nights. It was only after she saw that I wasn't in any distress that she finally went home. But I didn't expect that as soon as she left, Sophia showed up.
Miss Emily, I know you won't welcome me. But I had no other choice but to come this time. I know that Liam didn't come home that day because he was with you.
As she said this, her eyes were fixed on my neck, her gaze filled with grievance and unwillingness, even with a hint of tears.
But Miss Emily, you two broke up a long time ago, and it was you who initiated it. Since you didn't want Liam, please don't disturb his heart now. I just want to live a good life with Liam, and my child wants that too.
I watched as she gently touched her abdomen, her face gradually showing maternal love, and my expression stiffened slightly. Was she expecting again?
How far along are you?
3 months. As soon as she mentioned the child, her smile grew wider. We were actually out shopping for the baby today. Liam said that everything for the baby must be the best. To be honest, Liam cares more about the baby than he does about me. The baby isn't even born yet, and he's already completely focused on it. When the baby is born, he will definitely.
Miss Sophia, I understand what you're saying. Don't worry, what you're concerned about won't happen.
Thank you, Miss Emily.
Sophia stood up and left, closing the door behind her. I felt an instant emptiness inside. If it were back then, I would have grabbed her hair and pointed at her and Liam, calling them names. But now, she was expecting, and Liam and I were no longer in a relationship, so I had no right to say anything against her. That night, I changed my password. Less than an hour after changing the password, I called a moving company and moved out on short notice. Liam knew where I lived, and even though I knew he wouldn't come, I still had to move. Because I was afraid I wouldn't have the willpower to resist. I didn't want to wait for him to come looking for me every day, nor did I want to give myself that hope. After moving, I turned off my phone and slept for an entire day. When I turned my phone back on, I saw a series of missed calls from Jessica. As soon as I answered, she started yelling at me.
Emily, are you out of your mind? Didn't you say you wouldn't do anything drastic? So what's with the disappearing act now? I went to your place, and your neighbor said you moved out overnight. I called you, and your phone was off for 24 hours straight. What? Are you ditching me too? Fine, if you're so tough, don't ever answer my calls again. Let's just pretend we don't know each other.
I moved to my own place. I didn't do anything drastic. I was just exhausted from moving and slept for a day.
I pulled the phone away from my ear to avoid getting deafened. When she stopped yelling, I brought the phone back to my ear.
I ordered hot pot. Are you coming?
Are you seriously not thinking of doing something drastic?
Why would I? I spent a year personally decorating this house, planning to move in by the end of the year. Now that I've finally moved in, you think I'd do something drastic? Am I crazy?
Wait for me, I'm coming over right now.
40 minutes later, Jessica was eating while scolding me. She never repeated herself when she scolded me, and I was used to it, continuing to eat heartily.
You ungrateful brat, I worried about you for a whole day and night, couldn't eat a thing, and now you're eating so well.
You're eating pretty well yourself.
I glanced at the 3 large portions of beef tripe she had devoured, not feeling that her appetite was bad at all.
Get lost! I'm telling you, don't you ever go missing on me again. If you...
She hadn't finished her sentence when the doorbell rang.
Who is it? Didn't you just move in? How did you get to know the neighbors so quickly?
No, I moved in late at night. Didn't meet a single person, let alone a ghost. You keep eating, I'll go check.
At first, I thought it was the property manager, but when I opened the door, I was stunned.
Who is it? Is it a handsome guy?
Seeing that I hadn't spoken for a while, Jessica walked over with her chopsticks. When she saw Liam standing at the door, she was also stunned, but more than that, she was angry.
Emily! Be honest with me, did you move to avoid him or to avoid me? Are you afraid I'd interfere with your affair, so you moved overnight?
I was already confused by Liam's sudden appearance. In a city of millions, we hadn't crossed paths since that phone call. But now, just after I moved, he showed up at my door. I was starting to wonder if he had put a tracker on me.
Stop talking nonsense. You were the first to know I moved here.
Jessica felt a bit better hearing that. She turned her anger towards Liam.
What are you doing here? Didn't you and Sophia go furniture shopping? Why are you here bothering Emily? I'm telling you, just because you're handsome and fit doesn't mean you can do whatever you want. Stalking is illegal. Get lost. If you don't, I'll call the police right now.
We both thought Liam had been stalking me to find this place. But it turned out we were overthinking it.
I'm here to file a complaint, not to stalk you.
Complaint? What complaint? We just moved in, what could you possibly complain about? And are you even a resident here?
I live upstairs. I hope you won't make too much noise at night and disturb others' sleep.
As he said this, his eyes were fixed on me. Meeting his deep gaze, I was completely stunned. He lives upstairs. Did I move for nothing? Before I could react, Liam had already left. Neither Jessica nor I noticed the slight smile on his lips as he walked away.
Jessica was also dumbfounded. She stared at me for a while and then cautiously asked, "Maybe you should move again?"
I'm not moving.
Why should I move? I bought this house the year we broke up, and I've painstakingly decorated it. Why should I move out? If anyone should move, it should be him. I'm not the one who was unfaithful.
Exactly. Why should you move? If anyone should move, it should be him, and that's Sophia. But remember, you can use a noise machine to annoy them. You can even throw something at their door, but you absolutely cannot do anything drastic. If you do, I'll deal with you myself. Better you suffer at my hands than over some unworthy guy.
Emily nodded, familiar with Jessica's dramatic words. She was determined to live her life quietly and avoid any entanglements with Liam. But Liam kept coming to her door every few days, asking to borrow something: garlic, a screwdriver, anything he could think of.
Liam, don't you think you're being a bit much? You can't have your cake and eat it too. How can you be so shameless? Doesn't Sophia know you're always finding excuses to come down here?
The more Emily thought about it, the angrier she got. Before Liam could respond, she lashed out.
If you really enjoy being unfaithful so much, let me make it clear, I have no interest in cheaters, and even less in unfaithful men. Please, stay away from me. If you keep disturbing my life, I'll call the police.
With that, she slammed the door shut, leaving him outside. But not 3 seconds later, the knocking started again.
What do you want now?
So, you blocked me without a word because you thought I was unfaithful? His eyes were piercing.
What else?
Who told you I was unfaithful? When did I ever cheat?
Liam, how can you even ask that? You know exactly what you did.
Emily was furious at his innocent act.
Whether you cheated or not, it doesn't matter to me now. But stop knocking on my door. If you keep harassing me, I will call the police.
Liam looked at her, his emotions unreadable.
Emily, you really are heartless. You blocked me without a word, didn't even give me a reason for the breakup. Now you call me, sleep with me, and then act like nothing happened. If I had known you were like this, I would have never. He stopped mid-sentence.
You think I'm heartless? Don't you feel guilty saying that?
The one who left Emily without a word to go abroad was him. The one who kept entangling with his ex-girlfriend even while dating her was him. The one who spent the night with her and then went furniture shopping with another woman the next day was him. Thinking about all these things he did made her feel even more disgusted.
I really don't want to talk about this right now. Just leave and don't come back.
She tried to close the door, but Liam grabbed her wrist, stepping into her house.
Leave! If you don't give me a clear explanation today, I'm not leaving. Did you use me to provoke that man? Now that you've achieved your goal and reconciled with him, you want to dump me.
Let go of me!
His grip on her wrist hurt. Maybe seeing her pained expression, he loosened his grip slightly but still didn't let go.
Let go of you? Fine, but you need to explain everything first. Otherwise, don't think you can escape from me for the rest of your life.
Facing Liam's deep, unreadable eyes, Emily took a deep breath.
Fine, I'll talk, but you need to let go of me first.
I already let go of you long ago. Otherwise, how could you have lived so peacefully these past 800 days? Or do you really think you could leave without a word and I would just accept it quietly?
For over 800 days and nights, he had been waiting for her to contact him. He thought it was impossible, but now that she was right in front of him, she had to explain everything.
The one who left without a word was you. You went abroad for Sophia, didn't you? Liam, I was the one dating you at the time. Even if you were going to take care of her, you should have given me an explanation, right? Did you? No, you didn't say anything. Even when I called you to ask where you were, you told me you were on a business trip.
Business trip, my foot. You clearly went to take care of Sophia.
Now that Sophia is expecting, you should marry her and start a family. Why are you knocking on my door? Is my door that easy to knock on? Why don't you go knock on the police station's door if you have the guts?
When did I ever take care of her? And what does Sophia's condition have to do with me? Why should I marry her?
What does it have to do with him? The more Emily listened, the angrier she got.
You two went bed shopping together, and that has nothing to do with you. She even came to me and told me not to interfere with you two, and that has nothing to do with you. Liam, you should at least take some responsibility. You deny everything now, but are you even a man?
You know better than anyone whether I'm a man. But I have nothing to do with Sophia. And yes, I went bed shopping that day, but it wasn't for her.
Liam, do you think I'm an idiot? I saw you two being all lovey-dovey with my own eyes. If it wasn't for her, then who was it for? Me?
It was meant for you. Liam's gaze remained steadily on me. Your bed couldn't handle it.
We're all adults here. Can we be a bit more straightforward? I suddenly felt disgusted. Even at this point, he was still making excuses.
I suppressed the feeling of nausea and tried to keep my emotions stable.
Liam, honestly, I don't care about you and Sophia anymore. But I hope you understand that not everyone wants to be the other woman. And I don't want to get involved in your issues. What are you doing?
I pushed him away forcefully and slapped him. His sudden kiss made me feel like I was going to be sick.
Take this act back to Sophia. Don't use it on me. It just makes me feel disgusted.
Thinking about how he had been trying to please Sophia and was even about to marry her made me look at him with even more disdain. Liam didn't expect me to hit him, but he didn't get angry. Instead, he took out his phone and dialed a number. He put it on speaker.
Hello, has the bed been delivered?
Mr. Liam, we're really sorry. We've been trying to contact Miss Emily, but her phone has been off. We also went to her place, but no one was there. Could you give us the new address, and we'll deliver it right away?
All right, I'll send you the address now. It's not far.
After hanging up, he looked at me intently.
Do you believe me now?
I was genuinely surprised that he had actually intended to get me a bed that day. But I still didn't fully trust him.
Then what about Sophia? And the child?
After voicing my doubts, I waved my hand dismissively.
Forget it. It's none of my business. I don't want to know or waste any more time on this. Just don't come to my place again. I just moved in and don't want this to ruin my mood.
Running into him here already made me feel nauseous. If he kept borrowing things as an excuse to come over, I might have to move again soon. I wanted him to leave, but he showed no intention of doing so. Not only did he not leave, but he also walked right into my home.
Are you trying to force me to call the police?
Liam didn't say anything. He just opened his messaging app and showed me his chat history with Sophia.
I was alone that day, but then I ran into her. She asked for my help, and just as I was about to refuse, I saw you. I wanted to explain, but you left without looking back. When I tried to message you, I found out I was blocked. The child Sophia is carrying has nothing to do with me. In the past 2 years, I've only seen her once or twice. The conversations we've had are limited to what you see here. As for going abroad without telling you, that's true. But I didn't go abroad for Sophia. I didn't even know she was expecting or had a miscarriage. How could I have gone abroad for her?
Not because of Sophia.
I frowned.
If it wasn't because of her, then why did you hide the fact that you were going abroad from me? And when I called you, she was the one who answered. She told me herself that you went abroad to take care of her. Liam, don't tell me you didn't know about this.
I really didn't know what she told you, Liam said, enunciating each word carefully. But I went abroad because of a work transfer. Before I left, I sent you a message. Once I got there, I was so busy that I didn't have time to contact you. I thought I'd call you once things settled down. But when I finally called, you had already blocked me.
At this point, his eyes showed a hint of hurt.
I went to find you, but you were never home. So I went to see Jessica. She scolded me and said you had someone new and told me not to bother you.
He had always thought she had truly moved on. Until that phone call, he realized she hadn't let go. With her personality, if she had really moved on, she wouldn't have called him. Facing Liam's gaze, my heart skipped a beat. But this time, I didn't avoid his eyes. Instead, I looked at him steadily.
I never received your message.
You don't think I'm lying to you, do you?
Why would I lie to you? I took out my phone. Even though I blocked you, if we check with the service provider, we can find the records.
No need to go to the service provider.
Liam also took out his phone. He pulled up the message he had sent me years ago and showed it to me.
I thought you were mad and blocked me because I didn't explain in person.
Emily, they need me in Europe right away. I'll come back as soon as I finish the project there. Wait for me. Seeing the word sent, I was stunned.
I really never received it.
I'm not the type to be unreasonable. If I had received his message, no matter how upset I was, I would have talked it out with him. But the problem was, I never got that message.
I believe you, Liam's voice came from above me. But that's not the most important thing right now. The most important thing is, how are you going to make it up to me?
Make it up to him.
Make up for what?
You didn't even give me a chance to explain back then and blocked me. Now, after spending the night with me, you blocked me again. Don't you think you owe me an explanation?
Liam wasn't one to joke around. Especially not in this kind of atmosphere. Looking into his serious eyes, I didn't know how to respond for a long time. In fact, he didn't give me time to respond. He closed the door with one hand, grabbed my wrist with the other, and led me inside. If I didn't remember clearly that this was my home and that he had only ever waited at the door to borrow things, I would have suspected he had broken in several times before, given how familiar he seemed with the place.
Your place has the same layout as mine. How could I get it wrong?
What are you doing?
Love.
Liam was always concise. Emily stood frozen, her breath shallow as Liam's warm exhale brushed against her ear, sending shivers down her spine.
805 days, Emily. I've waited 805 days.
Liam was everything a woman could ask for, handsome, accomplished, well-educated, and from a reputable family. Emily's best friend, Jessica, often reminded her how fortunate she was to be with him.
You hit the jackpot with Liam.
The day Emily and Liam officially became a couple was one of her happiest. She felt on top of the world, eager to announce their relationship to everyone. However, 6 months later, it was Emily who ended things. Seeing her like this, I couldn't be bothered to ask further.
Since this is your decision, I don't think there's any need for us to continue this conversation. You should go home and take care of yourself.
With that, I stood up, ready to leave.
Emily, do you think you've won? Let me tell you, you can't win. Liam will always be mine. He's just playing with you for now, but eventually.
When have I ever played with feelings?
Before she could finish, Liam's voice came from behind. Hearing his voice, I instinctively looked over. Seeing him stride towards me, I was a bit dazed. Wasn't he supposed to be at work? How did he end up here?
I've made it clear to you before, from the beginning to the end, the only person I love is Emily. I don't know what you've been saying to her, but I hope you stop spreading nonsense. The matters between her and me are none of your business.
Sophia's face turned pale.
Liam,
Just what? Just repeatedly causing trouble behind our backs? When I met you abroad, that wasn't a coincidence, was it? And when we were buying furniture, that was your doing too, right?
No, it's not like that, Liam. I just love you. I didn't mean to manipulate you.
Well, your love is quite unique. And by the way, when you say these things, have you considered the father of your child? How do you think you would feel knowing you're scheming against another man while carrying his child?
If she could think that far, she wouldn't be causing so much trouble.
Jessica, who had been watching from a distance, couldn't hold back any longer. She walked over and directly confronted Sophia.
We're all women here, so I don't want to be too harsh. But if you really enjoy being shameless, I can play along.
Liam,
Liam, do you call the father of your child with such affection? It's broad daylight. Have some decency. If you don't feel ashamed, I feel embarrassed for you.
After saying that, she turned to Liam.
Since you're here, I don't need to find you myself. Let's talk somewhere else.
All right.
Liam didn't hesitate. I thought the three of us would sit down and talk, but as soon as we got to the place, Jessica gave me a look, telling me to stay put while she and Liam went into a private room. Usually, 20 minutes would pass by quickly for me, just enough to listen to a few songs. But now, I kept staring inside, worried that Jessica might actually start a fight. Just as I was worrying about them really getting into a fight, Liam came out.
Where is she? You didn't fight, did you?
What are you thinking? We live in a civilized society. Who would start a fight? Let's go home. I've ordered some food and will cook for you.
He said this while wrapping his arm around me and leading me outside.
So, what did you talk about? Knowing Jessica's personality, she wouldn't approve of you so quickly.
We talked about getting married.
Married? You want to marry me?
He stopped walking and looked down at me intently.
You've already spent 2 nights with me, and you still want to run away?
Who spent the nights with whom? No, that's not the point. I mean, you were joking, right?
No, I'm serious. It took me so long to find you again. If we delay any longer, you might run away again.
2 years had almost driven him to the brink. Another 2 years, and he wouldn't survive. Every day without her felt like an eternity. He didn't want to live like that anymore. Seeing that he wasn't joking, I opened my mouth to say something, but my phone buzzed. It was a message from Jessica.
The 18th of next month is a good day to get the marriage certificate. The 28th is good for the wedding banquet. Also, tell him to take it easy. Anyone who doesn't know might think you had a massage on your neck.
Reading the message, I was stunned. Before I could think of what to say, Liam's voice came from above me.
I told you she was biased towards you. She should be telling you to take it easy. My back is covered in your nail marks.
Stop making things up. I didn't scratch you at all.
Whether I'm making it up or not, you can check when we get home. I don't mind if you scratch me a few more times. As long as it's you, I would give you my life, let alone a few scratches.
Who's going to check? Get away from me.
Then let me check you. I'll check you for the rest of my life, okay?
Okay?
Of course, okay. Spending a lifetime together would be the best thing ever. The end.